So if you guarantee me that this is going to be his level now, there is definitely going to be a chance for HERETICS to fight back. But still early days. This is only the second map of a best of 5, and we could be here for a long day of Counter-Strike.
Who knows? Who knows? It'll all remain to be seen. But right now, I do have that faith in HERETICS. It will depend, of course. Will they win the knife round again? Clearly, that didn't do much for them in the previous map. But maybe this time round, if they can get started on that CT side, if we can see them really finding their element, so to speak, then they could be with a start with a very convincing side. And oh, the frags fly to and fro. And in the end, it is actually WINSTRIKE who get this knife round now. So expect to see them on that CT side.
You dare to say they might, and well, indeed, they do swap around. That means HERETICS has to show their T-side strats first. Curious to see if they will be able to actually get the pistol round, because that's of course a very good propellant, at least to put down some pressure on towards WINSTRIKE. Yet on a force buy on nuke, there's a very high chance that you might be able to force back as a CT. It's happened many times before. You have so many close angles you have to contest, and you might have a shotgun to come in, most likely those Deagles, and there's still a very good chance, but let's not get ahead of things. First we have to see the pistol and who will win the first one.
And indeed, always the pistol round, a good indicator for how things are going to roll, at least for those first few rounds. Can usually be that solid 2-3 rounds in the beginning to show where those are going to go. Right now, though, we see WINSTRIKE on their CT side. I do wonder if this might not give them too much of an advantage over HERETICS. Of course, I do believe that we all agree that Nuke is definitely one of HERETICS' their top maps, and that they should really be able to show up on it.
Again, Elion and Entryfrag, name a more iconic duo. He's been doing that all day, every day, all tournament, and he starts off again, giving WINSTRIKE the advantage. And you're right, HERETICS have proven time and time again that they are proficient on Nuke. They've won it actually twice versus WINSTRIKE, and there's an element that we need to mention, is that the second time was actually even more decisive. So not only did they win twice, they even improved between map 1 and map 2.
And normally you see the other way around. The team that loses has the most to improve, and thus can learn the most as well. Yet that didn't come into play the last time around. And at least they're starting off well. Now we do see a little bit of a peak coming down towards the ramp area. Lackey still trying to contest as they're not really rushing in. They're now trying to convert on towards A with Libera moving in with the clock as well. So many players standing by from WINSTRIKE, yet they're not getting the frags. The player in CT fence also falling by the line with a free K of his own. Looking to even numbers, and what are they doing? They're trying to upgrade their pistols, and now they're losing it. A line with a 4K, almost yet another ace, as Lackey was able to get the last one.
That would be good, you know, another ace. I may or may not have actually also put in on an ace happening on the second map.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I mean, hey, now if you're gonna go, like if you're gonna go at least for the first one, then you might as well go for the second.
How much did you put in?
Oh, it was another $5, but it would mean another, 20. So for the community, of course, and that is what we're playing for here. We'll have to see. You'll hear it. If that happens again, then I'll probably go even more insane than
Will
I
you
did.
start crying in joy?
Oh, I'm so happy. We'll see. But for now, WINSTRIKE, they might be feeling the tiniest little tears of joy building up as they just got that pistol round, and WINSTRIKE are off to a solid start. CT side, of course, being slightly advantageous for them, but still, it is also just well played out by them. A little bit sloppy, of course, seeing as HERETICS did get caught out swapping their pistols around there.
Those kind of things happen. It's just a little bit of a risk that you sometimes take, but it will be the full eco coming down from HERETICS, expecting to buy in the following round. SMGs aplenty on WINSTRIKE, 4 MP9s, 1 AUG on towards the line. Lucky's waiting for a player to cross in so he can flash and go for possibly some money frags. And there they will come right about now. Of course, Flashbang comes in. He will not drop down this time, however, as he will be tagged up and also deal some damage. First frag coming in, the line will get one in return as well, make that a triple. And Bondik already pushing in towards the back. Makes it a clean 2-0. No players going down on WINSTRIKE. And HERETICS now on their first buy.
And indeed, HERETICS, they do actually play it out cleanly. Second round, just the eco coming in. And they attempted, but Lackey's hold along with, of course, the line with that all coming in, becoming in clutch. You can see them all being fragged down. A swift and, well, decisive round for WINSTRIKE, 2-0.
Yeah, I was going to wonder if the upgrade will come through for WINSTRIKE, but they elect to stay with the MP9. So I'm very much expecting some aggression, at least some close quarter combat coming out of the CIS team. And this is the definition of a bonus round.
Yeah.
Even if WINSTRIKE were to drop this one, that would not be a problem. They would have enough money to reinvest. XMS playing through the smoke. That's a kill found by Lackey. And an upgrade at that. Oh my god, this is the equivalent of having just a slice of ham and someone gives you a full meal. He's at the MP9, that's now an AK. Life is good for Lackey.
Let's see, it's a solid start for WINSTRIKE anyhow, as XMS is indeed taken out. Lackey indeed, from this ramp position, and he knows how to get those frags, you know. It's dangerous. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get a 31 tap or 2 here, but it might be the spray down instead. Nope, it doesn't actually happen. Maka can shoot him down, but there is serious damage dealt, and that makes the work quite easy for Alliance. He goes to that spray down to the smoke, but Heretics don't decide to push through just yet.
Chris is sending by, MP9 in hand, and look at the HP on the Heretics members. This could be a possible double frag to come in as he sprays around, but he can't just find a frag just yet. It's going to be Heretics disengaging and now going for some yard pressure.
With the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Again.
Well, it's consistent at least, but it's not consistency that you like to see in a line here. Okay, doesn't get any, fine.
He deals damage. Kiyoshima also low. With those 3 MP9s, there might just be frags coming in. Smoke to be popped in towards Secret by a WINSTRIKE member. And they're even splitting. Heretics not really committing together, and they need to commit together. Unless if the player actually gets in towards defense, and now they're going back towards Zane. They're doubled down. There's 10 seconds left, and they need to get going. They're going for a save. As they lose yet another player. Christian standing by the MP9 on towards range. Almost shoots the head of his teammate. And that means that only Lucky is alive. He will not lose his life. They could have just ran in towards the A side, possibly. Yet, of course, Chris is standing by on towards Silo. Might have been a little bit annoying. 3-0 for WINSTRIKE. And they've got some very clean upgrades.
Oh, absolutely. And I'd say WINSTRIKE now, they go on to that 3-0 now. It's one of
the
the
weapons. Oh my god, they have 3 AKs.
Yeah, no, but it's
Christmas early.
Yeah, but it is just, it's a really solid start for WINSTRIKE, and that's what you like to see on your nuke, on your CT side. But Heretics, well, they're kind of just struggling behind. You've only got Lucky who managed to preserve that AK. And, yeah, no, he did manage to preserve that AK, I believe.
Yeah, he's saved.
It feels like Heretics are second-guessing themselves just a little bit too much, you know, overplaying, kind of playing themselves out with their rotations, thinking, okay, 18 seconds, we should probably pull back and, you know, take WINSTRIKE by surprise, but sometimes the simplest way to do things is the best. WINSTRIKE did exactly what they needed to do with the MP9, started with Lackey finding a kill towards ramp, and then Krisen applying a lot of pressure towards Hut, forcing Heretics out of the zone. But now, WINSTRIKE firmly in control with that 3-0 lead, and Lucky with all to do.
Lion once more standing at the AC unit, gets the first frag on towards Lucky. Of course, this isn't a round most likely to be lost by Heretics, looking at their investment. As Naivara now picks up the AK, yet he will be low. And he might have to throw it over on towards XMS. He still has armor, and that would be a decent raid boss to come in. Yet still, this round not really working out too well. Maka now to gain that AK once more, indeed, to be traded out. It's going to be a little bit of a juggling match between the Heretics members. Waiting to go towards ramp once more. Lackey standing at the back box, often not contested. As there's also a player already on towards B, one player on towards Heaven, now falling down to contest as well. Lackey standing by, gets a spray down on towards to make it free, and Maka the sole member alive,
Ace.
of course, also to fall.
Oh.
RJ, what are you doing?
I want to see the ace. I can't, you know, I just, you know, I want to get those.
But how can he get an ace? Because the Lion already had a frag earlier. You can be so happy, RJ, but you have to stay in the zone as well.
Stay on point, stay focused. Indeed. I concede here again, actually. Lucky going down by his hand. And Lackey, such a strong hold, though. He's really been the decisive champion of the ramp so far, you know?
Yeah, just in general, I feel like Lackey has been such an impressive rifler for WINSTRIKE and extremely consistent with the input and what he can bring to the table in all these games. Very rarely have I seen him completely fail a game and be, you know, non-consequential. So, good job by Lackey. Might be scaring Heretics away from the ramp position later on. We'll have to see down the road if that's the choice they make. Meanwhile, outside control has been gained by Heretics with 1:25 on the clock. That's pretty good. It's going to give them some wiggle room. But Lackey, the man we were talking about with the AK, about to get tested. Maybe we'll see his shoulder. Not quite yet.
And of course, they will be traded out. Lecky once more standing on this ledge, waiting for them to push in. Yet, of course, delaying them by 7 seconds will be that incendiary. He has support, most likely by a line once more of the AUG rather than the AWP. So, of course, as long as you don't die, you don't have to buy another weapon. Lecky with the opening frag on towards Maka. That's again the favorable position for the WINSTRIKE team. As Nate will be traded out, but the line still alive, and they now know that Kiyoshima has that outside pressure. They'll just be setting up accordingly, and Kiyo, he's moving in, but the player close to his left, he will not be expecting it, but Lecky with a flick takes him down. 5-2-3, and once more a very good situation for the WINSTRIKE members.
And we see for the rest of the WINSTRIKE members, they just waited out patiently on that A side. Now Vera doesn't have to take out Bond. Nikolai here, though, can trade it out a little bit. XMS goes down in the line, of course, hopping and skipping about, trying to dodge some bullets. I mean, hey, it beats just standing there and dying, but in the end, it is WINSTRIKE who take the upper hand. Get their 5th round now, and we're starting to get close to that point where if the opposing team still hasn't won any rounds, it starts to get a bit worrying. And now you see as well, Heretics, they're all Nico. They've got Glocks.
This kill right here was the deciding point.
Yeah.
I don't know in what universe Kiyoshima cannot get that kill. He had the drop on Lecky, completely unsuspecting, but the flick is true. And another triple kill. That is the 3rd one for Lecky. He's already on 10 after 5 rounds, which is decent if you ask me. He's been having a pretty good game. Now, half investment coming in for Heretics, trying to change the pace, trying to storm that A-bomb side. XM is dropping down instantly. Does he have the bomb with him? I think he does, definitely. The Tech 9. Again, everyone knows how much I love this weapon. But the bomb plan is going to come through for Heretics. Oh, actually, I say that, though. Nickelback has something to say about it.
Surprise.
There could have been some money made for the Heretics side, but look at this. They send one player on towards B, then go for yard pressure, hoping to possibly flank out some WINSTRIKE members. Kiyoshima now takes down Bonding with his CZ, and they're peeking in one by one. As Nickelback will be tagged up, falls back a little bit, and there will be Nivera taking down Chris and Nickelback now with a triple kill, but still there's so many members alive from the WINSTRIKE team trying to play around it. And it's going to be at least at M4 upgraded by Kiyoshima. Lion takes down Lucky. And, well, now we have Kiyo on low HP peeking in and to be taken down by the, well, normally AWPer for WINSTRIKE, yet he just goes for a slightly more aggressive weapon, also with a scope.
Yeah, you know, a scope's a scope at the end of the day. Or they'll probably be happy to just have a gun with one in his hands. And we see Nickelback once again also holding off. And the solid molly against Mirror, I don't know if it's going to be in the replay, but indeed, you can see it in his hands, and that's going to delay properly and actually give him the chance, I believe, to frag out Nivera there with his pistol.
Gonna be a full buy against full buy. This is a must-win for Heretics, because otherwise, if they don't get a bomb plant in, you might expect WINSTRIKE to already go towards 8 rounds against 0. And then it gets really worrisome, as Kiyoshima will be tagged up quite heavily. Kristen as well, slightly under damage. So will be XMS trying to dance around this smoke as well. Damage should be dealt by the incendiary. Lecky might have gone for a spray if he heard it a bit sooner. XMS now going for a spray again. Being taken down by Lecky, and he's running through the molly. 4 HP and a dream. And then also body blocks that smoke to perfection.
I mean, that's the kind of plays that you love to just see coming in from your teammate, you know? Then you know that you're really playing for each other.
A bit awkward in the end. Lucky now trying to contest the A main position. It will be a line standing at the CT box, trying to pre-fire a little bit as well. And Lucky might have an indication that he's going to be able to either move in or do something else. Utility flying in for an A execute from the Heretics members, yet look at his hold coming down. Kristen being the setup for, of course, his teammate if he would go down in towards that second wave of utility now flying in. Yet there's still no pressure to be found from Heretics. They're moving through Squeaky, take down Kristen, but in Hunter will be a player. Alliance still inside. The Lion, the only member actually alive, but he will get to make it a triple as well as Nickelback takes down Maka. 7-0 for WINSTRIKE, and it seems as if Heretics is being destroyed.
This man is a god. Elian is a god. He's been doing it time and time again in this tournament. Once more, the best possible positioning. The 3rd man, the invisible man, being on that bomb site. You'll see here, no one ever expects him to be here. First kill, quite easy. Then he adjusts onto Kiyoshima. And the 3rd one, just for show, because why not? 7-0 for WINSTRIKE. Elian, not even with the AWP. He's been playing the AUG from the get-go, pretty much, and he's already on 14.
They were actually able to pick up an AWP as well from the Heretics members, because Maka actually had one in the previous round. And they don't really feel like it. They know that this aggression is currently suiting them. And against most likely pistol armor coming in from the Heretics side, there's no reason to bring that AWP. You know they'll come close. You know you've actually on the short range also had the advantage. Like he's trying to bait out some shots, will not deal any damage. Just throws in an incendiary. Gives himself the time to reload. And then just repositions accordingly. As once more, Heretics might be going for that A take. With now utility once more to be expended by WINSTRIKE, trying to slow things down.
And maybe just slowing things down is, well, the thorn in Heretics their side. You force them to play with their time. You force them to, well, their time to run out, I think is the best way to put it. And then you just reduce their chances systematically. Lackey here, pushing ahead in the radio room. But not quite getting it just yet. Now though, Krisen doesn't come in that much. Luckily though, a line is there. Organ hand and frag at the ready. Bomb down now. Ooh, Bondeki also takes out Maka. Kiyoshi tries to go for that deagle engagement, but then Lackey pushes through. Already, of course, pushed up just a little bit from his ramp position in that radio room. And we see with that WINSTRIKE getting a very decisive even 8th round in. And I was talking about getting close to that, you know, round count where your opponent still has 0 rounds. And
It's not actually too bad. For us, we are looking at WINSTRIKE completely manhandling Heretics, and obviously it doesn't feel too great, but we have to remember, it's 8-0 on the CD side of Nuke.
Yeah.
If Heretics are able to just, you know, wake up a little bit, win 3 or 4 rounds at the very end, then CT pistol round 1, we can still be talking about a comeback, but for Heretics, the problem for me is the fashion with which they're losing. It seems too one-sided at the moment. It seems like WINSTRIKE are doing exactly what they want, and speaking of which, the aggression is going to come through. XMS finally besting Naki. Elian only one available. XMS grabbing AWP, not exactly sure why he does that. It's pretty much better with the AK, but he makes a liar out of me. 3rd kid onto Nickelback. Talked about a reaction. There you have it.
Yeah, no, you're right, you're right. This is finally the first round that will very, very probably be going to Heretics now. As a very...
I like how decisive you are. It's probably very likely going to Heretics.
It's always got to entertain that chance, you know. You can never be too sure. Always just keep in mind, you know, that all possibilities are out there. But indeed, Heretics now take their first round. And with this, we'll see them actually also preserving some funds, seeing as they played a pretty much almost clean round, save for 1 player. And I'd say hope for them that this is their chance to really start working on that comeback now. Maybe they'll have granted WINSTRIKE that 8th round advantage to go into that second half. But maybe now they'll pull off their own little streak. Go for these 7 rounds at least on that first half.
There's always a chance, and we shouldn't forget, as I always say, whatever WINSTRIKE can do on the CT side, Heretics theoretically can do as well. And we've seen it in this round. So far, WINSTRIKE has been out-aiming Heretics, and that sometimes pushes you to over-aggression. In the past round we saw that. First Lackey not able to get the kill, and then of course to be traded out. Then you do see a line getting 1 frag, but with the AWP you can't really do too much when you're on towards that close angle. And now we do see a slow round to start. WINSTRIKE not forcing the issue. Still not picking up that AWP. I dare to say you might change your pace around that and possibly go slightly more aggressive in the rounds to come, but in the last round they had an AWP, it didn't work, and now they're a little bit money struck on some players.
Financials are always tough, always an important game of managing your economy on your side. And of course, this lovely game that we call CSGO. So far though, not really any vicinity of that bomb, you know, not in any vicinity of a site. And it's once again going to come down to Lackey here. Is his hold going to be good enough? He's proven it time and time again. Well, looks like it won't be needed as they rotate, and they now do actually go for that A-bomb site.
We've seen it many times from the side of Heretics going for that A-take rather late on. It's going to be Nivera and XMS this time finally opening things up, and the big thing is that the line this time wasn't playing on the A side. That's been, well, most likely the block they weren't able to move around, in a 5-3 with the economy on the side of WINSTRIKE might indicate a save to come out as well. And WINSTRIKE slowly getting in there, slowly now losing some rounds. Heretics is doing the work, and well, I'm curious to see how long this streak will continue.
Yeah, you've mentioned it. The timing found by Heretics in that inside push was absolutely perfect. It was the exact moment where Elian was suspecting a ramp go, so he was that second man ready to help Lackey from under heaven, leaving 2 poor Bondic and Krisen alone to help with that A-pincer move coming out of Heretics. Great job by them. They're slowly but surely regaining control over the situation with 5 men alive as well. They'll be able to open up that savings accounts that you like to have. We see Maga is above 7,000, 6 for XMS. Nivera also south of 7,000, so things are looking great. Actually, no, he's got even more than that. My eyesight is completely ducked off.
I know that problem.
8.2k. That is pretty good. So Heretics, again, they have the possibility to end up with a very satisfying T side if they were to, say, win 3 or 4 more rounds. I'll give it to them.
Yeah, I think now if they can prove themselves, they can keep the pressure on WINSTRIKE as well, because you see that their savings are, well, kind of just down the drain pretty much. Only Nickelback remaining though of a little bit, you know, a little bit of a considerable amount of Lackey then. Alien. We'll see. Oh, this is a rapid push onto the site, and that does work out a little bit. XMS gets a frag there, make it a second, make it not a triple, seeing as Lackey refrags him. 3v3 now, but I believe, are they going to be able to get that planted already? Quite looks like it. Lion, though, goes for that spray through the smoke, but doesn't quite manage to hit anything.
Didn't tag, but he didn't get a kill as Nickelback from lobby will get the first frag towards Mecca. Gets another one towards Nivera, leaving only Lucky alive with a 1v3. He tries to get one, he will get it, but then there will be a double P coming in on towards the CT fence. He gets one, there's no ammo on towards Nickelback, but there will be an incendiary. And there's not a frag to come in, and well, the pistol fight will eventually go in favor of WINSTRIKE, but that could have gone either way. Heretics, on their push, were really banking on towards XMS. The rest of the team not really showing up. Of course, there was the opening frag in favor of WINSTRIKE, regardless. But where was the pressure on towards the side? Weren't they able to support XMS on towards his push?
Those are good questions to be asking. And I would say questions, you know, for Heretics to perhaps ask internally, provided they maybe call a timeout after this as well. They did have the reserves, so they could use that. But we'll see that coming quite just yet. We've seen a bit of a lack of timeouts so far.
Well, we've seen Heretics actually not really being too fond of timeouts. WINSTRIKE only really taking them later into towards the map if they do sense that they might be losing their advantage, because they're really good at making it early advantage, as Nickelback already has an early advantage towards this round. It's Mecha going down on towards Nickelback. He now able to return on towards the line, dropping the AWP, whereas it's actually quite interesting that in the last round he saw actually Lackey with the AWP. He now goes aggressive as Ramp, as he will go down towards Nivera, but still that's a trade. Yet they've lost the side control. In towards fence goes Bondik. He's saying nope. Straight out of there and straight to the save they might actually go, because Bondik on low HP, not really having that opening for themselves, might spell trouble. But as Grison now takes on Nivera, this might just be the entry they need. Even with a low HP Bondik, you can still make it work, as Nickelback just biding his time, waiting for the smoke to dissipate. He's moving in, will be spotted out by Lucky. Now there will be only 2 members alive actually at the ramp position from the WINSTRIKE team. There will be utility as well to fly it out. That's not really the cutest flash we've ever seen.
Cutest.
But it will be, yeah, some flashes are cute. This is going to be Grison moving in with the M4, really leading the charge. As Bondik, he's already moved away. He's now leaving his teammate to die, only to see a 3rd round go for Heretics.
And this round has Lucky written all over it. It was all about Lucky. First of all, finding the kill onto a Lion, completely putting the entire defense off balance, forcing Lucky to second guess himself, dropping down the ramp, then realizing, hold on a second, they might actually hit me. But it was just too late. He gets 1-for-1 trade. Obviously always favors the offense, and with that, the ramp, the vent had been taken, the backup was just too complicated. Even if Grison did find the kill, as you pointed out, it was not enough. Good job by Lucky, triple kill. And speaking of 3, Heretics are now only 6 rounds behind, which is quite decent though, but there's a way for a comeback.
The way for a comeback is, I think, the best way to put it, and especially if you look at WINSTRIKE's financials right now. The Eagles, you know, pistols basically all around, and then the Scout in the hands of a Lion along with Bondik and the AK that he managed to take with him. But besides that, not really much more, and they are facing off against a fully equipped Heretics. Utility, armor, rifles, and an AWP. Everything their hearts could potentially desire. And we'll see if they can actually use that successfully.
Awkward buy round, of course, with this force coming in from WINSTRIKE. At least the AK on towards Bondik was saved. That might be key, because Bondik has been very strong so far. Aligned with the Scout, wouldn't even dare to say it would be worse than the AWP, as he's been able to rack up kills left, right, and center, as he might make it work on towards some actions. Grison standing by with 5-7 will go down to XMS. It will be yet another A execute, and Bondik not able to connect the spray. Lion at least gets one that drops the bomb, and it will also be Lucky falling on towards Nickelback. Still the scout to be worked with. 2 flashes to come in as well, and they might go for it. A little bit of a cheeky peek, but Kiyoshima always standing by. Gets one on towards Lackey. Makes it back to a 3-on-2. But XMS, he will be low, but it will be Maka with the AWP to take down a line. They come back trying to save the AK and armor once more. And that will mean that we go to a 9-4 scoreline. And with more rounds coming in favor of Heretics on their T side, it seems more and more likely for them to be able to come back slowly.
And the money situation is absolutely in the bin for WINSTRIKE right here. As we can see on the left-hand side, Krisen has no dollars, same for Bondik, 0. Then you have 50 for Lackey, 100 for Nickelback. If he could be saving this AK and the Kevlar, that would be great for them. But there's going to be a decision made on the next round. I wouldn't be surprised to see an eco coming out of WINSTRIKE to make sure that their last round is decent or they have all the resources that they need. So Heretics have done, they've completely broken the dam. At some point in the game, WINSTRIKE had everything they needed. They had the AWP that they could have picked if they wanted to. They had the money for it. Now, finally, their backs against the wall. They have no money at all. And Heretics have the Royal Highway, stairway to heaven for a potential 6-9, which, again, considering the context and how this first half played out, would be an absolute victory for them.
Oh, absolutely. It's a very strong comeback that they've shown now, and those savings indeed are key for them, I'd say. Kiyoshima and Ivera, you can see that even with their, well, how do you put it, with their, you know, buys coming in now, they've still got a serious amount of cash to play with. And the Heretics will probably be looking at a 5th round coming in here.
Kiyoshima standing by, waiting for the aggression of these missiles to come in. It will be like the opening frag, but Ivera gets one in return. The AK, however, now drops the bomb. Yet with the low HP Nickelback currently has, he can't keep contesting. USB versus the P250 of Maka will lose the fight, as Kiyoshima will also be overpeaked by Lion. Nickelback almost gets another for himself, but the trouble will eventually not really go out. It's going to be WINSTRIKE still on 9, and Heretics closing in on towards 5. Going towards the last round of the first half, RJ, this might just be a 9-6, and then with a pistol not to be broken down by the WINSTRIKE members in the round to come. It might just be that they do manage to get it towards an equal numbers, and then they really need to manage their economy. If they are able to get that AWP in on towards Maka, possibly later on a second one on towards Nightfera as well, it might spell trouble for the WINSTRIKE members. Slowly trying to, of course, squeeze out a second map, because if they have a 2-map lead for themselves, it might be key. It might just be themselves gaining the advantage and possibly even the win in towards this grand final of the Vi.GG Legend Series. It seems to be a long way off, looking at how Heretics is slowly gaining more and more momentum towards this map.
Momentum is, I'd say, really what it is all about, and if Heretics can transfer that momentum into the second half, you're looking at a solid comeback, and you know, once they get onto that equal footing with WINSTRIKE, getting those first few rounds in the CT side, then I'd say, you know, there's a really strong potential for Heretics to make it that decisive win in the end. Just taking their time for it. Letting WINSTRIKE get a very nice streak up for starters, giving them a taste of victory on Nuke, but then taking it away.
Sometimes you just have to take away what other people like, especially in Counter-Strike. It's going to be the mollies, of course, flying once more towards the A side. Heretics have pulled this execute many of times, yet this time they're going on towards ramp. And the Lion, he's already dropping by, hearing the players move up, and will be Lackey trying to contest, but look at this, a Lion takes out Kiyoshima, expecting the player to have moved through the fence, or possibly even via outside. Barry gets one in return, but the Lion still playing from Shadow, might get something in return as well. It will be Maka with another frag, Ivera as well, but it will be Bondik in the flank too for himself, and Nickelback to follow up on towards Ivera. Will make it happen on towards Lucky as well. That's a very good flank to come in from WINSTRIKE, and they will eventually finish this first half on towards double digits.
And that's very consistent of them as well, because we saw the exact same result on Mirage. And that's something to keep in mind. We'll have to see, though, if that consistency does also mean that they do actually finish this off into the second half, or if it does mean that Heretics now will actually come back. It is Nuke. Nuke, of course, famously known as one of the most CT-sided map that there is. But still, I'd say even if you do have that CT side advantage, Or would you perhaps disagree? Or would you say that, you know what, that 5 rounds, it's decent enough, you can work with that?
I'd say both teams could shake hands on that scoreline. If you were to give them at the beginning of the game, say, listen, you're going to have 10 rounds on your C side, you're going to have 5 on T, probably both teams would say, okay, I'll take that deal. But I don't think Nuke is as city-sided as it used to be down. I mean, if we go back in the history books, now teams have figured out how to play on the T side. There is a bit more depth and diversity as to what the teams can offer on the offense. And granted, you can take the financial control of the game, you can force the CTs onto uncomfortable max 7 buys and shotguns, you can take them away from the AWPs, make them limit their utilities. Suddenly it can become very uncomfortable to defend the map that usually is quite friendly for you on the defense. So looking forward to seeing how this is going to pan out. I'd say Heretics have done enough to dream. They've done enough, they've allowed themselves the chance to dream about fighting back in this grand final. Over on the side of WINSTRIKE, as we have the score in front of our eyes, we see a Lion with 18, followed by Lackey 15. These two have been my MVPs so far for WINSTRIKE. Quite clearly, we have Nickelback bonding against Krisen. Didn't really have much to do. Not to say he's failed anything. He really hasn't been tested that much.
No, it's just, they've taken their time a little bit more. They haven't, how do I put it? They've not really played out the wildest things. They've not really done the most crazy things, but they've been there when they had to be there, and I think they've definitely been a part of the well-oiled WINSTRIKE machine to show that with that, well, they might actually be able to really surprise us and go for that. Maybe, can we imagine WINSTRIKE maybe winning it out on Nuke?
I could imagine. They first just need to win this pistol. Then they will be able to possibly propel themselves into a favorable lead, even more than they have right now. And of course, try to put pressure on towards the enemy of Heretics. Heretics wasn't able to do that at the start. Yet, in the second part of the first half, they were able to really deny the buys coming in from the WINSTRIKE team. And that means we now have a 10-5. Heretics slowly trying to build back in towards this map. They're biding their time. They're waiting for, of course, WINSTRIKE to make a move and possibly to make a mistake as well.
I'll have to see, really. The mistakes are something that Heretics have been making every now and then. And we'll see if WINSTRIKE gets one in their favor. If they do now actually get a chance here in this pistol round to potentially finish it out like that, it would be very rough. Maka, though, starts off well. Look at that frag coming in there. Lackey goes down. And with that, Maka just continues. Oh, but he runs out of ammo. Doesn't stand much of a chance there, but luckily XMS comes in. He can show himself, and he can now prove that, well, we'll see. We'll see indeed that it's the 4v2 show. And with that now, we'll be having WINSTRIKE probably going to lose this pistol round, and probably going to give Heretics that 6th.
It's going to be Krisen throwing a smoke on towards the B side, trying to sell as if they were going there. Yet Nivera, close towards ramp, will get the bomb drop in return. Line with a P250, the Soul member standing, having some armor, but he will be destroyed by Nivera as well. And that's just the magic double AWP setup for Heretics, now with pistols as well, working out wondrously.
For the tidbits, before this game began, Nivera was the 8th best pistol player of the entire event. He actually plus 14 in pistol rounds, so he's been doing that time and time again. It was Marka to start the effort with. You would say with a little bit more bullets, he probably would have gone further in the action, but it was good enough to stabilize the situation. Nivera then winning these last few duels. 10-6, first step is done. You can put the check mark there. They've won their pistol rounds. Now they need to survive this force buy. We talked about WINSTRIKE ability to break their opponents. This is now or never.
I think, WINSTRIKE, they can really show it indeed, and we'll have to see also maybe see some of those sick 1-deeks come in, the kind that you absolutely love. But right now, I still have to see WINSTRIKE actually prove that, because Heretics, they've got some work to do, but if they get that solid pistol round in, then you could really, well, now that they've gotten that solid pistol round in, you could really be seeing a comeback coming also from them.
Scout wallbang on towards Lucky will bring him in towards 54 HP. And Lucky is still trying to hunt him down as well. We'll get another chunk of damage on towards Lucky, but he's still alive. FaMAS, of course, trying to play a little bit more safely, as Mecha will also be tagged up by that Scout from a Lion. And I'm not really sure why they're playing those open angles against, of course, a Lion with the Scout. Nickelback now takes down Nivera. It's going to be a 4-on-4 situation, and it might get worse as the wallbang comes in through the blue box. Mecha going down, and Kiyoshima now trying to fight his way back in towards his round, but he will be tagged up by Bondik. And this is just stupid aggression coming down from Heretics, trying to force their way in fighting against Yard, where they know there will be a scout. They don't have the utility to back it up. And of course, they will now lose some players. At least they bring it back slightly with XMS and the MP9, yet the B-side already taken by the WINSTRIKE members. Soon to be planted, and possibly soon to be won as well.
Yep, we'll have to see in a moment now. Nickelback also takes out XMS, and now it is pretty much a given. And this could be a critical mistake almost for Heretics. This could be giving WINSTRIKE way too much playing ground, way too much to work with. Both teams, of course, really don't have the best financial, but Heretics will be damaged a bit more heavily by this loss, I would say. And we'll see if WINSTRIKE can come back from that. Or well, if WINSTRIKE can actually take that and work onto that.
And the way the economy works right now for the viewers at home, if you are not familiar, if Heretics had just lost the first pistol round, they would have had a greater loss bonus. You start with 1.9k if you lose the pistol round, whereas now it's been completely reset. So Heretics have absolutely no money. There's going to be a quite dry 1.4k that's being given to them, and with it the decision to invest or not. The problem is, on one hand, obviously you want to be able to put pressure on WINSTRIKE early on. You don't want to let them get away with that 12-6, 13-6 potential scoreline. But on the other, if you completely force into it and it goes bad and you don't make any economical damage, you're basically just digging a hole for yourself, and you're never going to have the money that you need. Apparently, as we can see, they decide to go for the full buy. So it's not all or nothing, but still a big risk being taken by Heretics. They really want to fight back into this game. They've had their way back in, and they've allowed WINSTRIKE to regain control.
Saving a little bit of money on towards Mecca, of course, to possibly buy the AWP on their real first full buy. Lucky now with good tag on towards Chris, and at least opens things up a little bit, but they would have really benefited from a frag. Mecca takes Squeak in control. Bondik might have a hunch as Kiyoshima will also be tagged towards 50 HP. But so far, no frags being exchanged, making it a very slow round, even on a forced buy from the Heretics members. They're trying to chase down Lucky, of course, playing in towards Garage, will be flashed out, yet the flash is already gone away. The moment he can peek again, and will be peeked as well by the WINSTRIKE members. There's one frag, a very good tag on towards Nickelback as well. Now we have two low HP members, only WINSTRIKE team. And with those Deagles, that should be easy going, easy frags, and possibly Mac as well, his key position in Squeaky Door to be able to take out Bondik if he does go for the rotate.
You don't sound too sure, but indeed, I think it's a very real chance. It's also vital for Heretics to actually pull that off. They really need to make the best out of this now. They've once again financially committed to this. And if it doesn't work out, oh, that's not a good start as Maka goes down, then I'm afraid Heretics are going to be looking at a serious disadvantage. Nibera here, normally his aim is so on point, but not this time round. It's Bondik just continuing. Second frag for him, make it a third now, as Kiyoshima goes down by his hands. And XMS, last man standing. I mean, like, he can save this, obviously, but
He has to. He pretty much has to.
Yeah, but there's like, at the end of the day, it's still a serious problem for Heretics, you know? They're still looking at a round loss. They're looking at WINSTRIKE getting that 12th, and
probably 13.
yeah, considering what their financial situation is like, that's very likely. And oh, look at them skipping and hopping about. They're so happy.
Imagine being so happy on Nuke on your opponent's map pick.
Well, I was wondering if you were happy to see Bondik actually lurking on top of the roof instead of the door room. I was keeping an eye on you to see if you were reacting.
He's not really lurking that much in the door room all the time.
Yeah.
He's more often just setting up there, just crouching, saying, oh, if the molly goes out, I open door, I throw smoke, we go for A. But now, indeed, he's playing a different game, and Heretics just weren't able to contest it as much.
Yeah, and he's done a fantastic job. This round was all about Bondik just handling the aggression coming out of the pistols towards inner. First of all, punishing Maka, was trying to go up the ladder and then changing his position. Somewhat surprising Naivera, who did not expect that crazy wrecking ball peak, although you would think that he had the drop on him, and then considering that there might be another flank come in, Bondik with 3 stabilizing the situation, and there we have it on your right-hand side. This is what we call a financial and emotional desert. There's absolutely nothing for Heretics. It's going to be XMS with a Deagle, a Kevlar, and a Dream, and 4 teammates that basically just hope he's going to pop off, which can happen. Let's be honest, it can happen.
Oh, it can happen, but we also have to be not just honest, also very realistic, I think. And the sad reality of that also means that that probably won't happen. WINSTRIKE now have that 6-round advantage over Heretics, likely to be looking at their 13th coming in a moment. And they've also already starting to build up a bit of that financial momentum. Look at someone like Lion. Look at someone like Crizzen. Those are very nice cash amounts to already have relatively early into this second half. And that will also definitely help WINSTRIKE further down the line.
We do now see that smoke execute to come in. Often you do see a response from the CT side trying to aggress. As I believe some Deagle shots will be expended. Also some USB shots thinking up a Lion as well. Lucky standing by, wants to go for some juicy taps, and he will get a little bit of damage dealt. Yet still we do see WINSTRIKE, or at least most of the WINSTRIKE members, going into our secret bomb as well. And they're now biding their time. They're waiting for that push to come in from Heretics, and here will be that push as well. Leferi the opening frag on towards Crizzen, yet the B side control already gained, and the Lion just holding down the angle most likely. Like the fence or just the secret entrance, but with Bondik still towards the silo. He gets one. Oh, almost drops to his death, as it will now be Mecha with the frag. At least something gained for the Heretics members. Yet it's still a 3-on-3 and they don't have a position to move in. And thus they will save most likely that AK on towards Mecha, and highly probable also that FAMAS on towards Nivera.
FAMAS, obviously, not the best weapon. Not favored by some.
I believe it's a French weapon as well,
yeah,
so I wouldn't be surprised Heretics saving it.
But
for a second I thought you were going to say because Maniac is French, and I was ready to
No, I wouldn't
dare. Because it happened to me many, many times.
I know better than that. I've watched you for so many years. I always look at you in HLTV, and I'm just a fanboy, you know.
Oh,
I've had it all.
I love just the moment I even mentioned the FAMAS, I could just see that look of disgust on your face, like, oh, that thing.
Now, listen. I'm not saying the weapon is good. I'm saying I wasn't good enough for the weapon. That's the difference. Some players can absolutely master the FAMAS thing. NBK is a good example. At times, when the burst was the thing, he was absolutely popping off with the FAMAS. I'm just saying I somehow never really got the handle of it. I would prefer playing with the MP9, maybe like P250 or something. FAMAS and myself never had a good reaction.
Back then, more UMP than MP9, I dare to say.
Yeah, UMP was a thing. You're right. Going down memory lane.
The good old times.
I just remember how even in Counter-Strike a meta can change, as we do see Nickelback pushing through quite aggressively, and was lucky being baited out by those smokes, trying to possibly spray down a player. Yet Bondik is now low, but Lucky is out for the count. And look at the control already gained by WINSTRIKE. They have complete yard control, now going for Heaven as well, and Bondik is saying, well, they might go for lobby. Maybe then they'll go for outside, but I'll be standing by, and that means WINSTRIKE just playing the time, and as you can see, Heretics indeed going for lobby control. Two players actually there, one going outside as well. And if they do go up the ladder, Bondik will have a frag, and it will be Nickelback with yet another one onto our sixth mass. Mecha goes down to a Lion, leaving only two members alive on that Heretic side. And I dare to say once more, go for that save and hope for better times. But it will be Bondik taking now Kiyoshima, the player still lurking on that roof, and Heretics just not being able to deal with it.
This is looking so clean from WINSTRIKE.
Yeah.
I did not expect that level of proficiency on their T side of Nuke. I mean, first of all, you can see the timing Nickelback has found at the beginning is absolutely stellar. As we see Nivera trying to inflict some damage, there's only going to be two bodies on the floor. But as I was saying, Nickelback, first of all, finding that crazy timing. You pointed it out. Lucky was baited by the smokes, trying to inflict some damage through it. Nickelback strikes first. And then the second wave of attack, the second part of the round that is so well organized. WINSTRIKE literally have an A take, and we have it right here. Great job production. This replay here, all the smokes and all the molotovs being deployed by Heaven, which means they have it planned. They know exactly what they're going to do when they get to Heaven. So absolutely stellar job by WINSTRIKE. And I cannot believe it. We're looking at 14-6 scoreline for WINSTRIKE on Heretics map pick.
Yeah, and look at the economy for Heretics now as well. They don't have anything left. So once again, they might have a very good loss bonus by now. But this does mean for WINSTRIKE that, or well, for Heretics, that they are looking at a very, very tough final round to play out, perhaps, you know, because WINSTRIKE, if they win this out, they're going to be on their map point. And then, you know, Heretics are going to be vying for overtime. And once again, they'll have to put down such a strong streak that it's almost impossible, I'd say, for them to actually pull that off. I really believe in Heretics. I think they're a very, very strong team, but I think that that is just something too far-fetched for them. That's not something they can pull off.
Before this match started on Fido.gg, we saw the odds in favor of Heretics, yet they've now completely turned around. It's WINSTRIKE going for that 15th round, possibly for, of course, then another map point and then possibly a map win. If they do manage to hold on to it, then we'll go to yet another map pick of their own. Overpass will be the map to be seen. And then it's going to be Heretics having to pull a reverse sweep, yet they're not out of the count just yet. Mac of the AWP might be key to get an opening frag. Yet so far, he's not really in a position to do it just yet. WINSTRIKE once more with outside control fully. Taking the time to clean out Garage as well, but look at the time this time around. Maka takes a frag on towards bomb deck, and there's only 25 seconds remaining. They have to make a move real quick, and they're doubting. They're not sure on what to do, and they're also messing up the jumps. Maka standing by, holding the angle on towards Heaven. There will be 3 players moving. Kristen takes down Lucky in the meantime. Maka still standing by. Where is the utility? 10 seconds left, and they're so slow. It's going to be Nickelback falling to Kiyoshima, and the Lion burning with the rest of his team, leaving a round in favor of Heretics. They're bringing it back slowly but steadily. The first round, possibly the first of many, but at least they have something going with WINSTRIKE outplaying themselves, trying to do the exact same thing, yet this time being stopped by an AWP.
And those AWPs can definitely be nasty, even more so on your CT side. But this time round, it is still WINSTRIKE. They've got that financial advantage, they've got that economy, so they can buy this through, you know. They've got the utility, etc., everything that they might want. And now we'll be seeing them just going for a second attempt, basically. Second attempt at getting the map point. And also has to be said, I think, if they do get this map in hand, 2-0 for WINSTRIKE. They could battle it out on the third map, make that theirs, and it would also be their own map pick. It would be Overpass, which is also one of Heretics' their worst maps.
Flying in towards the A side once more. Nickelback this time with the opening frag rather than the opening death. There's still a player in towards the smoke. It's going to be Nickelback falling to XMS. He gets almost a spray down towards Lackey. And now from Heaven, another player drops. It's going to be Lackey, hearing him out. Bonding with yet another frag. The Lion takes down Lucky, only Mech alive, and he's already going for the save. A 1v4, it can be done. And most likely they will be trying to hunt him down. Very good flick on towards the Lion, but damage being dealt, and he's now rather low. Mecha picking up the AK, trying to at least contest the A main position as he's expecting players to move through. But look at this. There's just going to be a smoke to come in and nothing much he can do. He's hoping for exit frags. He's hoping to put damage on towards a slightly volatile economy on the WINSTRIKE team. But them just playing it slow, not really going for anything wild. They'll just be able to rebuy. No problem whatsoever. And Heretics, well, they don't have the money.
And that is the map point now achieved by WINSTRIKE, and this is getting dangerous. And especially, indeed, as you put it, Chadrick, look at the money for Heretics. It's just non-existent, basically. And it is such a danger, it is such a risk now, and it could very well mean that we're going to be seeing a 16-7 result. An even more decisive win coming in from WINSTRIKE this time around, and it paints a worrying picture looking ahead towards the third map.
Heretics just not stepping up at this moment in time, having trouble on their own mapping. We see some utility already being dished out by WINSTRIKE. This time not really going for that yard control as the nades are flying in from Heretics. At least they now know 2 players will be close by, as XMS has already fallen to Kristen. The early aggression working. Mecha now also going a little bit aggressive with the MP9, but will be flashed out and forced back towards a different angle. And with that SMG on towards that longer range, it might not really work. With now actually a very strong A stack coming down from Heretics. For WINSTRIKE, they can just go for something different. They can just go for a ramp push and they'll be golden. Yet now we do see the smoke going to outside, and instantly Heretics is forcing 2 players, possibly even 3, on towards that B side. They're trying to play around possibly the smoke wall to come in, and now a player will be in secret and saying, hey, there's nobody here. But Nivera, he will spot the players in towards ramp, now goes back in. And I'm not really sure why. Lion takes him down. Now we have a 5-2-3. And B control slowly being gained. Lion with yet another frag. Make it another one for Kristen as well. Leaving only Maka alive. 1v5 and MP9. And he's trying to get some kills in return, but he can't make it work. 16-7, and once more a very decisive win for the team of WINSTRIKE.
I'd say once more and even more, because look at this. 16-7. That T side, that was Heretics their chance for a comeback.